Hi, I'm Nyesha McCauley, and you're watching AccessTV.org.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to For the Greater Good with your host, Evelyn Richardson. Today, my special guest is Mike Reynolds. He's going to share some information with us about his passions and what he finds to be very important and possibly the assets and also the issues that he finds as a community resident and a concerned citizen. So I'm very happy to welcome Mike Reynolds. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
I'm glad. Okay, so Mike, we're going to start very basic. Tell us about Mike. So as we go into this interview, people will be able to have a backdrop to who Mike Reynolds is.
Well, Mike Reynolds, I'm a Hartford native, born and raised here. My whole family is here. Born on the north end, raised on the north end. I was a part of like the negativity on the north end for a long time in my life, and as I've gotten older, I've learned to do things differently, see things differently, and approach life differently.
Wonderful.
And today I'm just happy to be a better person. That's who I am. I really don't want to get into who I was, but who I am today is what's really important.
Exactly.
I'm a great person right now.
Oh, wonderful. So now let's talk about me and your relationship. So I ended up finding out, I think I was probably about maybe in my 20s when I found out from my sister that you were my cousin.
Yeah.
So we share, my great uncle is your mother's father.
Yeah.
So we're family. So I love you. That comes naturally.
Love you back.
And we also grew up in the same neighborhoods at certain points in our lives. So, and then our relationship kind of picked up, and I didn't even know who you were. And I'm quite sure you probably didn't even realize I was your cousin on social media, as always. Facebook has a way of finding all your family members for you. And you struck me as a very intelligent, wise young man. And it was later that I realized that, hey, this is my family. So tell me, how do you become so knowledgeable and passionate? What are your passions? What are you passionate about?
My passion is to be happy, is to succeed, is to know that I made a difference, on any level. And the person I am today is totally a reflection of the person I was before. And I just want to do everything different than I've done before. And I think that there's a strong group of people that will support me either way, and if you supported me in a negative way, I'm quite sure you can support me in a positive way, and the good thing about where I'm from, the people that I surround myself with, it forces you to put forth actions and just instead of speaking about it, and right now, today, this is important because they will realize that I'm putting my foot forward instead of just talking about it, and that's definitely what we need in our community.
I agree with you, because if you can lead people to actually stay engaged with you while you're doing something that's negative, it actually shows that you have the ability to be a leader and lead those same people and more to do positive. So that's wonderful that you recognize that. So, and that's what recently on Facebook, what can you share with me? I know that it was Mike Brown was happening, Ferguson was happening. There's a lot of people in the Black community talking about supporting each other. Can you give me some information on how you felt about that? Because that's when I said, Mike has a lot of people that are waiting for him to actually put his voice and his passion and his feet into place, and you would have a following. So share with me what ignited that in you.
The Mike Brown situation is just a small piece to a puzzle that's been created a while ago, and every once in a while I try to show people that You know, I'm knowledgeable on different levels. And I think what really got me is way before Mike Brown, way before Trayvon Martin.
Okay.
It was more so that, you know, we're given opportunities and we don't take full advantage of our opportunities. And we put ourselves in a situation where we accept or expect someone to do it for us instead of us doing it ourselves.
And when you say us, that's
Our people,
our people.
you know,
Okay.
and it's not so much of our people, it's just people in general, you know, because you got it on every spectrum. And I think that the Mike Brown thing just put me to a point where as though it became a challenge now. I don't want you to keep talking about this is sad and why they do this and why they do that, because this happened before, will continue to happen. And if it's a Mike Brown who's black or if it's a Mike Brown who's white, it's going to continue to happen. So we can't keep expecting handouts and people to just say, let's take your hand and I'm going to lead you along the way, or I'm just going to apologize to you and everything is going to be all safe and sound. This is actually an opportunity where us as a people can get together and create something out of it and create a togetherness, because more than anything, that's what Black people lack, togetherness. You know, we don't get far in life because we rather pull each other down than pick each other up. You know, we don't support each other. Even if I didn't know you at all, and that's a lot that my Facebook is dealing with right now. I don't know you at all, but you have something positive going on for yourself. I'm going to support you by reposting it, showing other people on my page what you're doing. Whether some accept you or not, at least I posted you, and now you're seen by a wider view of people. And I've noticed that it's still, you'll see some people that in their head, they like, I don't know that person. Or that person never did anything for me, so forget them. And that's where we continue to lose at. As long as we live that way and see life that way, we're going to continue to lose. We may think that we're winning individually, but the reality is that we're losing. You know, and it's still today. Like I watched the news today, and they was talking about Clark Street School, how it's shut down.
Okay.
And
also, it's still shut down.
Yeah, it's shut down, and they spread the children out amongst Waverly School, Freddie Wish School. And I'm looking at the news and how they presenting the situation, and I noticed that they didn't want to show that these schools was ran down. They actually did a taping of Freddie Wish School at night, because that's how horrible it looks in the daytime. So they didn't want to show that, because now you got it on TV and everybody's going to see what's going on. It's bigger than just some PCV or whatever type of piping that you're dealing with that's messed up. It's bigger than that, because the books are messed up. You got sixth graders that's learning on the fourth grade level still. So,
do you have any kids that go to school in Hartford? And then don't let me have you lose your thought, though. But I'm curious.
No, I don't.
So continue.
Well, actually, I do. My daughter, my oldest daughter, go to the Montessori program. And then my other two daughters, they go to school out in Farmington. And my daughters was in Rawson School, and I wanted my daughters out of that school because at a meeting, a teacher stated that my daughter had to sit and wait for the other classmates to catch up. And I don't think that's fair.
I went through that.
I don't think that's fair at all. You know, if my child is exceeding, put somebody in her space that's going to help her continue on.
That's right.
Don't make her sit back. So that's why she's not in that school any longer. But back to the Mike Brown and the school situation, I look at it all as, if we continue to just complain and don't do anything, we're going to continue to have the same results.
That's right.
You know, and you shouldn't just be fixing this one problem in Clark Street School. You should be fixing the whole school. It's all the way from the teachers on to the structure of the building, because that's the only way our children are going to have better education, be able to advance in life, if we had the right tools. And that's just for me looking at everything in the whole, the Mike Brown, the school, and just how our people are as a whole because of our conditions. We accepted our conditions, and we just living in the end, and we just say, you know what? It's sad to say, but God is going to fix it for us. And we can't be like that.
We have to be
because
active
I think
participants in
you accepting God in the wrong way if you really think that you're gonna sit down and do nothing and God is just gonna do something for you. I think you don't understand the concept of God if that's how you live in your life.
So tell me, I'm curious to know, what would you say? Well, first, before I ask you, what would you say are the assets that you see in North Hartford? I want to ask you to give me a backdrop to how you remember North Hartford as a child.
How I remember North Hartford as a child. When I grew up on Mansfield Street. And on Mansfield Street, as a child, every parent that lived on that street can chastise you. And it was accepted, because it was for the better of the children. We had every eye looking out their window watching for not just their children, but everyone's children. We had more recreational centers. We had more fundamental programs as a whole for our children to keep us away from the streets if we wanted to. Now, you had those that just wanted to be in the streets. Unfortunately, I was one of them type of people. I just wanted to be in the streets, but that didn't take away my intelligence. I always knew what was right from wrong. And when I was doing wrong, I knew I was doing wrong. And I accept the responsibilities that came with wrong. And today, we don't have a structure at all. We have a generation of children that just don't care. Don't care about their parents, don't care about themselves, don't care about anybody they run across. And that's just life. That's just how they're living it. And to fix that, we got to communicate more. We got to start being a force in people's lives, even if they don't want it. I try my best, is either on social media, on Facebook, I'm going to either correct you if you're saying something wrong, or if you're too out of hand, I'm just going to delete you off my page, because that's not where I'm at in life, and I want to stay amongst the people that are where I'm at in life or where I want to be, because as much as we're talking now, I've learned that you can't help everyone. That's right. You can't force everyone to do the right thing. You can just, even if it's just one person that came along with you, you done your deed. And that's how I'm living now. I have my children to take care of and make sure they grow to not be a product of their environment. And then along with that, I have to continue to put myself in a situation to lead by example. Exactly. I can't tell I got a 21-year-old son. I can't tell him not to do something if I'm doing it. That's right. Because he's going to fast say, Dad, but you're doing it. So.
And these kids, they're not easily fooled anymore.
Not at all. Not at all.
That's right. They follow sometimes your example. You get the rare ones that watch you make a fool of yourself and go the next way. But most of them will follow us if we're out of line. So yeah, back to the first question. So what would you say? Because we all have those things that, this is going wrong, this isn't right, that isn't right. And I'm hard pressed myself to actually, when I go to some of the community building meetings and they're saying, every community has assets. And I'm like, okay, oh yeah, I forgot about them, because, so everything that seems to be wrong is so like bam in your face. What would you say are some of the assets for North Hartford?
I would say that the assets are plentiful. It's just that acquiring the assets, North Hartford don't have the correct representation, don't have the knowledge as a whole to go receive these assets. And because of that, it's just sitting still while we don't know what to do. We're living amongst the people that won't even go to a PPT meeting for their child at school. So
and that would be a community asset, a school.
Yeah. And so City Hall is an asset, but we don't use it as an asset. And that's what I'm trying to get to.
Down here for you.
That's what I'm trying to get to, is the fact that we have all these wonderful assets that if we go out and get it, it will be there in our hands, but we don't go out and get it. We just want the things that just come to us. And like you said, you have schools, you have the Parker Recreational Center that was remodeled. You have another Pope Park Recreational Center. You have the YMCA. You have the Boys and Girls Clubs, and like I say, you have City Hall. You know, and those are things to build upon. And then another thing to build upon is our growth in Black businesses, not just Black businesses, Hispanic businesses, all different business, minority businesses. It's a growth in them, and we got to start learning how to support them. You know, and it's said that most of the time on Facebook they say that, oh, I went to this store, but I don't like how they do things. Some people don't deserve to have stores. That's not only in the Black community though. That's on every level. It's some big chain stores that don't deserve to be in business. Right. But I mean, it's people that still deal with them. So if you have an issue with a business that we're trying to support, don't slander them. You know, try to communicate with them so they can fix their business.
That's right.
So you can continue to be a customer for them. Don't just put them under the dirt. You know, because we all trying to succeed. Everyone's trying to succeed. And some may be easier than others, but you cannot hinder a person from trying to succeed. That's wrong of us to do. Exactly. And we do that a lot. So I mean, we got to start taking responsibility, and we have to start taking actions for our resources that we have. We have to start taking action for the assets that you speak of, and we have to start taking actions and responsibility for ourselves.
Okay, so I'm gonna go to my next question. You brought up about the supporting Black-owned businesses. So I know that when I grew up, that there were lots of African-American owned businesses in the community in North Hartford. We had stores like Miss Vi's, and what else we had Johnson's Fish Market, as time went up from Miss Vi's days. But there were still Albany Avenue. We had, I can't remember his name, but he owned a candy store. I mean, it looked like you go in the mall and there's a candy store in there. He had one on Albany Avenue. And so there were all these businesses that thrived. There was, African-American shoemakers mixed in with other cultures and everything, but you could see that there was quite a bit of African-American owned businesses. Today, I have to strain my eyes to find, them in the community. And we talked about sometimes, so share with me your knowledge of the Black Wall Street and how that is something, because I know that you're passionate about seeing something like that to be able to be created in present times. So.
Well, the Black Wall Street I love the Black Wall Street. It was introduced to me in 2001. And somebody just gave me the paperwork and said, read on this. And I was reading it, and then I didn't believe it. So I'm calling home. I was in a place where I couldn't do much at the time when I got the information.
Mike, I'm sorry. I'm going to stop you right there. Don't lose that thought. We're going to be right back. We have to take a break right here. Don't you leave that spot, because Mike's about to share about Black Wall Street. Thank you for joining us.
How do you judge a law firm's success? Cases won, money made, or what the firm does in the community? At Dressler Strickland, we know that success is just the beginning. The true measure of success is what you do with it. For 33 years, we've used our success to help our neighbors and our community. 24/7, 11/22. Whenever you need us, we'll be there. Dressler Strickland, building communities one case at a time.
Thank you for allowing us to take that short break. We're coming right back to Mike Reynolds with Black Wall Street.
So once again, I was introduced to Black Wall Street 2001. I found it very intriguing. So I did my research on it. And at the time that I found out about the Black Wall Street, it was still one living representative of the Black Wall Street.
Oh, really?
And in 2001, he was paid reparation for what happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So it really caught my eye. So I'm just reading about it. And I took away the race riot. I took away the negativity in the Black Wall Street. And what was more intriguing was how they created a community. It was literally a thought that was provoked amongst a group of people that put that thought into action. They created one thing, and off that one thing created a community, a Black-owned community. They had their own hospitals, they had their own banks, they had their own schools, they had their own everything. And it talks about how the dollar circulated throughout their community. Right now, you can spend $1, and the chances are you will never see that dollar again. If you wrote your name on $1, you will never see that dollar again. Back in Tulsa, Oklahoma, in 1921, you can write your name on $1, spend it to the store. You're liable to see that dollar up to 36 times before it left your community.
Really?
That's what was going on back then. And when I stress Black Wall Street, I stress it because I want people to look at it in that manner and see what you can do if you put your mind to it. And that's what I mean about supporting our Black businesses. Because into supporting, I'm still on Black Wall Street, but into supporting your Black business, it forces your Black business to support its community.
There you go.
It forces it. You know, you can't support a business and then they're not giving back. Major chains, everybody does that. They donate money to certain foundations for certain reasons. You have the right to do that. It's a tax write-off. Everything is great about it. So where we can support our businesses to build our businesses can support our community to build our community, just as the Black Wall Street did. And they did it at a time where racism was heavy and the government was able to do the things that they done to destroy this area, Tulsa, Oklahoma. The government can't do that to us right now. And the world is watching. So, and that's what we fail to realize. We just watch basic like revolutions go on in Egypt, all over the world, right on live TV. And the support they had was the world. Their government couldn't destroy them as bad as they wanted to because the world was watching. So if we stood up for ourselves and created a foundation for ourselves and made it live, made it so people can see it, the government cannot do anything to us because the world is watching. We can't do what they're doing in Kansas City for Mike Brown and fighting fire with fire. The history shows we're not going to win. You're not going to win. You're just putting ourselves in a deeper hole because that's what's going to happen. We're just digging a deeper hole.
So what type of approach do you think would be successful? Since the world is watching, there's a degree of hope and success that I hear you speaking, but there's a degree of it can't be done there also. So bring that together for me. The degree
of it can't be done is only referring to it being done in a negative manner. It cannot be done that way. You got to come up with something positive, constructive, and build off of that. Now, if we unite and stick on the same page and just make it just positive energy, we can't have one person in the crowd saying, forget that, let's kill him, let's fight him. We can't do that because it's not going to work. You got to have everybody agreeing on this cause and doing it for the betterment of our children, not just us.
That's right.
Because this is really not about children, me right now.
You got to think probably about 3, 4, 5 generations
Exactly. Exactly. You know, and so we have to unite. We have to put differences to the side because in the community, our differences is minor. And
they seem to be the biggest barriers, but they're really, if you took all of the crap off of it, they're that big.
So it's a united stance that we have to have and just move forward with that. And I have faith, I have confidence that it will work. It's not going to happen overnight, but it definitely will work. Just along with me promoting other people's businesses and way of life on my page of Facebook is helping them out. I get thank yous in my inbox. I appreciate what you're doing. It's so nice of you what you're doing, you know, and the thumbs up and everything, because if it's just one person that say, oh, I just came to your shop because I seen it on Mike's page, and he was, you know, that's money in their pocket, that's money in their children's pocket, that's helping their business. It goes a long way. So if you do this continuously, what do you think?
People pick up at the same time. What I hear a lot in a lot of circles is that if something takes place, somebody say, oh, they stole my idea. And I had to tell somebody in a conversation just last week, and I actually, if you're familiar with Les Brown, he's, one of the top 5 motivational speakers. And he says that we get about 3 to 4 thoughts a year. So he encourages people to keep a journal next to their bed. Not that you're going to jump up in the morning and write in your journal, but when you're laying down, relax, and sometimes there's ideas, there's thoughts that, come to our mind. And sometimes we lose them, we never act on them. In the dream, it just doesn't come to fruition. But just because you had it don't mean that it isn't given to somebody else. Exactly. And that person acts on it. And then we sit back and say, oh, they stole my idea. You ain't have nothing to do with the thought that came in there. But because they were brave enough to take that leap of faith and bring it to fruition, that's a fearful response people give. Yeah. But, so, you talk about, all of the, I want to say thank you because, it took you and a lot of the information that was going across Facebook. I was amazed to be able to find out that although there aren't a lot of Black-owned businesses in the community on the streets, that I realized as people were posting up on your page that we're operating out of our homes. See? That there is a lot of Black business going on, but because we're not right outside people's doors, they might never get to go to a Brother Calvin that's selling African, soaps and, what they call it, the black soap and all of that stuff, because we're going to stop at maybe the corner store or go to Walmart to get, Ivory and Dove because we think that's the closest thing to us. Yep. But people are actually in their homes. And then when you get out there and you see, I've seen all of that advertising, and the biggest thing you get is because once I started saying I'm going to do my best, anything that a Black-owned store sells that I need, I'll take that extra mile to go to that store as opposed to somewhere else. And it actually led me to my own uncle's business. I seen you post so that. I was depriving my own family I seen that post. Of resource, and and my husband loves his beer. So if I'm going to get a case all the way out in Capaco, and my uncle's right there on Albany Avenue, and I'm on Enfield Street, how ludicrous is something like that? So thank you for the movement, and I appreciate what you're doing, and I'm encouraging you to not stop. But I also want you to think about, how are you going to bring it, Father? You said that City Hall is an asset for the city of Hartford and for North Hartford. How are you going to, what's your plans, possibly, if you don't mind sharing some of it with us, to delve into the political side? Oh, okay. I do that to myself. My brain works faster than my mouth sometimes. Well, no, my mouth works faster than my brain sometimes. Are you a registered voter?
Yes, I am.
You are?
Yes, I am.
So do you vote, though?
When I think it matters.
So we got to work on that one, right?
Work on that. I didn't vote this year because actually, I don't want to speak bad on anybody, but I didn't think either party was worthy of being a governor.
Would you like to elaborate on that for me?
I'm gonna just speak on Dan Malloy real fast. He just spent over $60 million to bring a baseball team to the city of Hartford.
That's mayor.
The mayor. Excuse me. Yeah. And they have this baseball team coming to the city of Hartford, and Hartford is not a baseball city. Never have been, never will be. And you speak of all the money that is going to generate, and the reality is it's not going to generate any money for the residents of Hartford, and the businesses in Hartford. If you check out all the businesses in Hartford, most residents from Hartford don't even work in the businesses in Hartford, and we have big businesses out here. Connecticut is a rich state. It fell in its ranking, but it's still a rich state. And we could have used leaders who was going to focus more on our children, our community, our schools, instead of a baseball team. And we fixing the roads. We fixing the roads to go where? That's what I want to know. You got Granby Street that they took 7 years to milk the
Did
money.
it take that long? I thought it was 5 or
It took
7.
7 years to fix the roads on Granby Street.
Somebody referred to that as he watched them literally dig up the road, pave it, and then dig it up again and pave it.
And that's all they were doing. And it's saying it was a structure under the ground that they had to redo all over because of the rust. We don't know if it's true or not, but we know that, especially in Connecticut, even with John Rowland, that construction companies and businesses like that benefit the most because they know how to milk the money. For example, right now in Bradley Airport, they're knocking down the terminal on Bradley Airport right now, Terminal B. They said the project is 2014. They said the project is not going to be finished for 14 years.
Woo!
So you know how much money is being wasted on something that can be done in some years, that in 5 years, but they want to take 14
years. I'll be 64.
Most people there are going to be retired, you know? And I'm sitting there, I go to work and I watch these people because I drive the shuttle out there. So I watch these people every day do nothing.
With millions of dollars sitting on their project.
You know, they started December 28th, they started the project and they knocked down a portion of a road, a bridge. Not the whole bridge, just a section. And then and from there they just been playing. And that's our money with our government. That's our money being used in the wrong way. And I say in the wrong way because, I mean, I'm not deep into politics, but I know that our government bid on contracts and get kickbacks so they can have extra money in their pockets. And it's been that way forever. That's how the world runs, you know? And we just need in our city leadership that's focusing on the people. You know, the people is what create revenue. The people is what create life, existence. So, I mean, why focus on something? The road, spending all this money on a road is not gonna help me feed my children. You know?
Especially not if they're not giving the contracts to you.
It's not gonna help me feed my children. It's not gonna get me a better job. It's not gonna provide for me or my community in any way. Fixing a road or building a baseball team where the government could have took that money and invested it into the schools, invested it into more after school programming, because the city of Hartford lost that big time. Now you have the outskirts that still have programs. And then with these programs, it's expensive. It's very expensive, but they have programs. But the city of Hartford itself, after school, what do? Our children go outside. And you go outside where drugs are being sold everywhere, guns are being shot
Bullets
everywhere.
flying.
And not even that, is me as a child growing up. I come outside and I see this guy, because we just materialistic people. It's sad, but it's true. And I see this person living a life, having fun, and I'm struggling at home. So now the temptation is in my head. Sooner or later, I'm going to bite at that temptation because I'm living and I'm growing, and I don't have the resources to keep me away from that. I'm in a community where probably is a very high percentage of single parent housing. You know, nobody have their moms and dad, and just me being a parent now, I really understand the importance of being there for your child.
That's right.
You know,
even if you don't live with them, it still needs to be a 2-parent child. So we talked about leadership, and you shared that, you know, you really didn't think that there was any, you couldn't decide on who you would like to vote for at the last elections. So we have elections coming up again soon, and they're going to be city council elections. And when you talk about leadership in the city of Hartford, city council, town committee certainly is a first step, but then city council are the members that actually make a lot of the key decisions for the city of Hartford. And that's they are out of City Hall. That's where they have their meetings and things. So you need to keep your eyes open on city council. Are there any Black leaders, African American, rather Jamaican, you know, whatever, Hispanic? Is there anybody that you feel as though they have done something worthwhile for you to take notice of?
That's actually running for a
No,
position,
not
or
necessarily
just
running, just right now operating on behalf of North Hartford, which is the community you're passionate about.
I don't want to just jump out and say this guy, but if it was anybody that I think would do a great job in uplifting the community, and I don't even think he ever ran for a position, will be Brother Calvin Lovejoy. Okay. I have a great respect for this guy. I have a tremendous respect for this guy. I know this guy since I was a child, and he always been the same way. And he touched people. Like, I mean, if you sit there and you get time to be with him, he's so humble in his approach, but that humbleness is very aggressive at the same time. And yeah, I would choose him. That would be.
So he's a leader that you can identify with.
Definitely.
So that's amazing, because you have all of the leaders that have the titles, but when you come down to the very, and I know Brother Calvin Lovejoy also, and he's a wonderful person. And these are the things we see them at, where we are. I used to say, when I first started paying attention a little bit to the politics and the culture and the dynamics of Hartford as it relates to the north section of Hartford, that it's like our leaders get in City Hall and then they're no more part of the community. They're part of the building. And I wonder, so I guess by you suggesting Brother Calvin, that shows me that what I was thinking as it relates to you is right. We look at the people that are amongst us as our leaders. You can't go into City Hall and leave us and shut the City Hall door, and we don't feel like we're represented or reflected at that table. But keep your eye open for city council elections. Now we have the mayoral races also be coming up again very soon. And at present, I think we have, well, I know we have Luke Bronin. His name is Luke Bronin, and then we have Mayor Sagata. Those will be two names that everybody is saying probably be the two top people vying. So keep your eyes open on Luke Bronin and also the mayor that we have presently, Sagara. Do you have any thoughts on that? You might not have got an opportunity to meet Bronin yet, and there'll be opportunities for that to happen, especially if you stay tuned to accesstv.org, because I do know that Jay Stan he has opened a platform for anybody that's choosing to run for office in the upcoming elections, that they have an opportunity to be aired on accesstv.org. So if you haven't seen that posted on Facebook yet, there is that opportunity out there for you all. Do you have any thoughts on either one of them at this time?
Well, Sagara, Mayor Sagara, I respect him. I don't know much of him, but I respect his approach. Just piggybacking off of what we just said, his people know him. He know his people. So he's there for his people. He's doing what he's supposed to do for his people. Unfortunately, I'm not his people, and because of that, the North and the Hartford is still suffering. Once upon a time, the South and the Hartford was just like the North and the Hartford. But if you go on the South end now, they have sidewalks and streets that's like downtown Hartford. And that's because they had some better. And that's because they had, for 2 terms, mayors that were their people. And being that they were their people, they looked out for their people.
And that's what we're supposed to do. Right?
And that's what we need. That's what we need. When I was younger, I remember Mayor Carrie Saxon Perry. And I remember her for the simple fact of people say she was a bad lady. I was too young to know if she was bad or good. But what I do know is that she came into her community. She used to walk the streets of her community. She was a representative of her community. So whatever she did other than that, I really don't know, and I can't build it. But I know as a child, I seen this lady walking the streets. We need somebody like that from our community that's gonna stay intact with us, not just like you said, get in the building and shut the door. Because sometimes they're forced to do that. You get in this building, this is what we want you to do. If you go against what we want you to do, we're gonna make it hard for you. So, I mean, some people are forced to do that, but then you got those that are so intelligent, like, I'm in here. You're not going to get me out of here. Mm-hmm. I know what I can do and what I can't do, and I'm going to do it. Mm-hmm. And they help their people. Mm-hmm. And they help their people, but we don't want you to give us no handout. Mm-hmm. We want you to let us play on the even field, though. Mm-hmm. You know, we want the same thing that, what's his name? John G. Rowland just got. Mm-hmm. John G. Rowland just stole money from the state, did federal time, came out and got a high-paying job managing money for the city of Waterbury after he stole money from the state. If I went
you
to jail,
still $10 at your job,
and
you out of there for about 50 years. I cannot
get another job, especially on that level. That's if I'm going to get a job, I'm going to get a lower paying job because of what I did. He got a job basically on the highest level that he can get other than being a governor. And look what happened. He's still the same person. He's a criminal. Mm-hmm. But because he's who he is, you gave him another chance, but you won't give me another chance.
That's the inequity of it all.
I'm making my own chance right now.
I hear that.
You know, because I don't want no handout. I'm not disabled at any means on any level, so I don't want a handout, you know. But at the same time, what is due to me, I do want. You know, don't prevent something that is rightfully mine. Don't prevent me from getting that. You know, let me get that because I deserve it. I work hard for it. I was just reading a script on Facebook, listening to a video, and a guy said, in order for a black guy to make it on a level of a white guy, he have to have at least 8 years more experience over this guy to even be equal. And this is a white professor saying that. I'm going to share it with you.
I'm quite sure there's a white professor.
I'm going to share it with you when we leave. And he said it, and I'm thinking about just the laws of America that was made up. It was made up at a time where our peoples were slaves, so we couldn't get anything out of the law. The laws was made not to benefit us.
Right.
But us getting a chance to be free, the laws was made for the people. It was made for freedom. So now that we're free, the wording of the law says that we can get exactly what they have. Mm-hmm. You just have to play by their rules. You have to put their game back at them. You know, that's all you have to do. Read it, interpret it, just how they interpret it. Mm-hmm. Now, why? I'm a free person. Mm-hmm. I'm equal. We live in that land of equal opportunity. So why can I not have this if the word states that I can have this? And if you can show proof that you're allowed this, they have no choice but to give it to you.
That's right. Thank you, Mike. I want you to look into your camera and just call the people out that say that they're going to give you their support, that they're waiting for you to get started. There's your camera over there.
Hi, people. I'm not going to call anyone out individually, but what I will do is those that do support what I talk about, those that are really in for a change, just let it be known. You know, don't sit back and say I'm going to be a part of it when I see it succeed. You know, become a part of it right now. If not for you, do it for your children. If not for your children, do it for your children's children, because if we continue in the path that we're going to continue getting nothing out of it. You know, and let's look beyond the materialistic things. You know, let's look greater than that, and we will succeed. So all those on my page, all those that I interact with every day, if you're really about supporting, show it. You know, let's not continue to talk about it. Let's show it. That's what I'm trying to do.
All right. Thank you, Mike. Thank you all for joining us on accesstv.org. You are watching For the Greater Good with your host, Evelyn Richardson. See you next week. Have a blessed day.